The salvage ship Endeavour drifted through the asteroid belt, its hull reflecting the distant sun's pale light. Captain Jake Holloway stood on the bridge, his weathered hands gripping the control console as he studied the sensor readings. "There it is," he said, pointing at the main screen, just like the survey team reported. The alien station floated among the rocks, a massive structure of dark metal and strange angles. It looked dead, abandoned for centuries. Dust and small rocks had left countless scars on its surface. Lisa Carter, the ship's science officer, leaned forward in her seat. Her fingers danced across her console, pulling up more data. "No energy signatures, Captain. Whatever this place was, it shut down a long time ago." "Any signs of life?" Jake asked. "Nothing. Not even bacteria. It's completely sterile." Sam Rodriguez, their engineer, whistled low. "That's not normal. Even dead stations usually have some microorganisms. Something killed everything in there." Jake made his decision. "Suit up. We're going in." The airlock hissed open 20 minutes later. Jake led the way, his magnetic boots clicking against the station's hull. Lisa and Sam followed close behind, their helmet lights cutting through the darkness of space. They found a breach in the station's side, probably made by a meteor impact centuries ago. The edges were smooth, melted by the heat of impact. Jake squeezed through first, his suit's readings showing 0 atmosphere inside. "Clear," he reported. "Come on through." The station's interior was a maze of corridors and chambers. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing faintly with blue-green light. Lisa immediately started recording everything with her suit's cameras. "This bioluminescent writing is incredible," she said. "It's still active after all this time." They moved deeper into the station, following the main corridor. Doors opened automatically as they approached, ancient mechanisms still functioning despite the years. The air was thick with mystery and the weight of time. "Jake, you need to see this," Sam called from ahead. They entered a vast circular chamber. In the center stood a raised platform, and on that platform was something that made them all stop and stare. It was armor, but not like any armor they'd seen before. The suit stood upright on its display stand, gleaming with an inner light. It seemed to shift and flow even as they watched, like liquid metal held in a human shape. Patterns swirled across its surface in hypnotic waves. "My God," Lisa whispered. "It's beautiful." Jake approached carefully, his hand on his sidearm out of habit. "Sam, get some readings on this thing." The engineer pulled out his scanner, waving it toward the armor. His eyes widened behind his visor. "Captain, these energy readings are impossible. This thing is putting out more power than our ship's main reactor, but it's not using any fuel source I can detect." Lisa was already working on the wall inscriptions. Her suit's translation software hummed as it processed the alien language. "These are warnings," she said. "Lots and lots of warnings." "What kind of warnings?" Jake asked, not taking his eyes off the armor. "Give me a minute. The language is complex." Lisa continued scanning the glowing symbols. "Okay, I'm getting something. The armor that consumes. Death wears this face. All who dare shall burn from within." Sam lowered his scanner. Cheerful bunch, weren't they? But Jake noticed something else. In the corners of the room, half hidden in shadow, were other artifacts. Broken pieces of different armor sets, each one unique in design. "Lisa, what are those?" She turned her light toward the debris. "More armor pieces. Different styles, different technologies. I count at least 7 distinct design patterns. 7 different species tried to use this thing," Jake said slowly. "And all of them failed." The realization settled over them like a cold blanket. They stood in a tomb, looking at a weapon that had killed everyone who tried to use it. "We need to know more," Jake decided. "Lisa, download everything you can from these walls. Sam, I want detailed scans of the armor and all these broken pieces, but nobody touches anything directly." They worked for hours, documenting every detail of the chamber. Lisa's translation program struggled with the complex alien text, but gradually a story emerged. This station was a testing facility, she explained as they gathered near the armor. Multiple species came here over the centuries, each one thinking they could master this technology. The Calaxians were first, then the Morvac Empire, the Threnodi Commonwealth, even species we've never heard of. And they all died? Sam asked. Every single one. The armor bonds with the wearer's nervous system. It amplifies their strength, speed, and senses beyond anything we can imagine. But the neural feedback is too intense. It literally burns out the user's brain. Jake studied the armor with new respect and new fear. How long did they last? The longest was 3 hours and 14 minutes. A Threnodi warrior. Their species was known for incredible pain tolerance. He still died screaming. Sam backed away slightly. We should leave. This thing is a death trap. But Jake couldn't look away from the armor. Something about it called to him, whispered possibilities in the back of his mind. Earth was at war. The Dominion fleet grew stronger every day while humanity struggled to keep up. They needed something to turn the tide. We're taking it with us, he decided. Captain? Lisa's voice was sharp with concern. Not to use, Jake clarified quickly. To study. If we can understand how it works, maybe we can build something safer, something that won't kill the user. He could see the doubt in their eyes, even through their visors. But they trusted him. They'd followed him through worse decisions than this. Sam, prep the cargo drone. We'll load the armor and as much of this data as we can carry. Lisa, keep translating. I want to know everything about this weapon before we're back on the ship. As his crew worked, Jake found himself staring at the armor again. It seemed to stare back empty and patient, waiting for its next victim. Or maybe, just maybe, waiting for someone different. Someone who could finally wear it and survive. The thought should have frightened him. Instead, it filled him with a strange sense of destiny. Humanity had always been different from other species, more adaptable, more stubborn, more willing to endure pain for a greater cause. What if this time was different? What if a human could do what no alien could? Jake shook his head, pushing the dangerous thought away. But it lingered, like the afterglow of the armor's shifting patterns burned into his mind. The Endeavor's cargo bay was silent except for the hum of containment fields. The alien armor stood in the center, locked behind 3 layers of energy barriers. Jake hadn't slept since they'd brought it aboard 2 days ago. Lisa worked at her console, dark circles under her eyes. Mountains of alien text scrolled across her screens. She'd been translating non-stop, surviving on coffee and determination. I've got something, she said, her voice hoarse. The full history of the armor, you need to hear this. Jake pulled himself away from the window overlooking the cargo bay. Sam and Amy Chen, their medical officer, joined them at Lisa's station. The armor was created by the Vectari, Lisa began. They were an ancient race, maybe the first to achieve spaceflight in this part of the galaxy. They built it during their war with something called the Devourers. Never heard of them, Sam said, because the Vectari won, but they paid a terrible price. They lost 90% of their population. The armor was their final, desperate weapon. Amy leaned forward. How does it work exactly? Lisa pulled up holographic diagrams. It creates a direct neural link with the wearer, not just surface thoughts, it connects to every nerve in the body. The user gains incredible strength, speed that defies physics, and senses that can detect energy across all spectrums. Sounds perfect, Jake said. What's the catch? The neural feedback. When the armor amplifies the body's capabilities, it sends massive amounts of data back through the nervous system. Imagine every nerve in your body firing at maximum intensity, forever. The pain is beyond description. Amy studied the medical data. The brain can't process that much input. It literally overheats like a computer running too many programs. Neural pathways burn out one by one until the user dies. The Vectari knew this, Lisa continued. They used volunteers, warriors who sacrificed themselves to win single battles. Each user had maybe 3 hours before death. But in those 3 hours, they were unstoppable. Sam shook his head. Why keep it then? After the war? They didn't. They locked it away. But after the Vectari disappeared, other species found it. Each one thought they could improve on the design, find a way to survive longer. Lisa brought up records of the failed attempts. The holographic display showed 7 different alien species, each one distinctly different in biology and appearance. The Calaxians tried first. They had redundant nervous systems, thought that would help. Their test subject lasted 47 minutes. The Morvac had natural armor plating and extreme pain tolerance. 1 hour, 12 minutes. The Threnody modified. Their own genetics trying to adapt. 3 hours, 14 minutes, the record. What about the others? Jake asked. Similar results. The Celavari, the Gorvac, the Ethereal Collective, the Xanathi Empire. Every single test ended in death. The descriptions of their final moments are disturbing. Amy was reading the medical reports. Seizures, hemorrhaging, neurons literally catching fire inside the brain. The pain drove most of them insane before they died. So they gave up? Sam asked. Not exactly. Each species left their own notes, their own warnings. But they also left hope. They all believed that somewhere in the galaxy, there must be a species that could handle the neural load. They called it the perfect inheritor. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. What made them think that? The Vectari left a message. Hidden in the armor's core programming, it only appears after multiple failed attempts. Lisa brought up the translated text. For those who come after know this truth. We created not just a weapon but a test. The armor seeks its true bearer. When agony becomes strength, when pain becomes power, when suffering becomes purpose, then the inheritor will rise. The galaxy will know them by their endurance. The room fell silent. Everyone stared at the glowing words. They built it to find someone, Jake said slowly, someone who could bear the unbearable. But who? Sam asked. What kind of species could survive that kind of pain? Amy was studying comparative biology files. I've been thinking about that. Every species that tried had impressive physical abilities. Strong bodies, natural armor, redundant organs, but maybe that's not what matters. What do you mean? Pain isn't just physical. It's how the brain interprets signals. Humans process pain differently than any alien species we've encountered. We have psychological mechanisms that other species lack. Lisa nodded. She's right. Humans can disassociate from pain, compartmentalize it. We have cases of people performing incredible feats while severely injured. Adrenaline responses that override pain signals. You're not seriously suggesting, Sam started, that a human could wear it? Jake finished. That's exactly what they're suggesting. Amy pulled up human medical data. Look at our history. Soldiers fighting with mortal wounds, athletes competing with broken bones, mothers lifting cars off their children. Humans have a unique relationship with pain. This is different, Sam protested. This is neural feedback that kills everything it touches. Everything alien, Lisa corrected. We don't know what would happen with human physiology. Jake stared at the armor through the observation window. It sat there, patient and deadly, waiting as it had waited for centuries. The Dominion fleet is massing at the border, he said quietly. Latest intelligence says we have maybe a month before they attack. Earth's defenses won't hold. Captain, Sam's voice carried a warning. You're not thinking. Someone has to try. If there's even a chance that humans are the species the Vectari were waiting for. It's suicide, Sam said flatly. Maybe. Or maybe it's what we were born for. Every species that tried the armor was physically superior to humans. Stronger, tougher, more advanced. But maybe that's not what the armor needs. Amy was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, I want to run simulations. Compare human neural pathways to the alien attempts. See if there's any theoretical basis for this. Lisa nodded. I'll keep translating. There might be more clues in the Vectari texts. Sam sighed. I'll prep the medical bay. If someone's crazy enough to try this, we'll need every piece of monitoring. Equipment we have. Jake looked at his crew. They were scared, he could see it in their eyes, but they were also curious. The same question burned in all their minds. What if humans were different? What if they were the inheritors the Vectari prophesied? 24 hours, Jake decided. We research everything we can. Then I make the call on whether to report this to command or lock it away forever. As his crew dispersed to their tasks, Jake remained at the window. The armor seemed to pulse with its own inner light, as if it knew its long wait might finally be ending. One way or another, everything was about to change. The quantum communication link crackled to life, and Admiral Patricia Wells appeared on the Endeavor's main screen. Her gray hair was pulled back tight, and her uniform showed the stress of recent weeks. Behind her, the war room bustled with activity. "Captain Holloway," she said, "your report has caused quite a stir up here." Jake stood at attention. "Admiral, I wanted to be thorough before—" "You were right to be cautious," she interrupted. "But the situation has changed. The Dominion moved up their timeline. Our scouts report their fleet will reach the border in 2 weeks, not a month." Lisa gasped softly. Sam cursed under his breath. 2 weeks? Jake couldn't hide his shock. "Admiral, our defenses aren't ready." "I know." Her voice was flat, controlled. "We're looking at a 20-to-1 disadvantage in firepower. Our best projections show Earth's defenses failing within 72 hours of first contact." The bridge fell silent. They all knew what that meant. The Dominion didn't take prisoners. They glassed planets that resisted. Admiral Wells leaned forward. "That armor you found. Our science teams have reviewed your data. They agree with your medical officer's theory. Humans process pain differently. We might have a chance." "Might isn't good enough," Jake said. "This thing has killed everyone who tried it." "Everyone alien," the Admiral corrected. "Captain, I'm not ordering anyone to wear that armor, but I am asking for volunteers. We need to know if humans can use it." Dr. Eric Thompson appeared beside the Admiral. Jake recognized him as Earth's leading xenobiologist. "Captain, I've studied the neural patterns from the failed attempts," Eric said. "There's a pattern. Each species that tried had similar neural architecture. Centralized pain processing, limited neuroplasticity. Humans are different." "Different how?" Amy asked from her station. "We process pain in multiple brain regions. We can redirect neural pathways, adapt to trauma. In theory, a human might distribute the armor's feedback across the entire nervous system instead of letting it concentrate in the brain." "In theory," Jake repeated. "But you don't know." "No," Eric admitted. "We don't. That's why we need a test subject." The Admiral spoke again. "I've authorized Operation Last Stand. 3 volunteers from Special Forces are already on their way to your position. But Captain, you've spent more time with the armor than anyone. If you have insights—" Jake's jaw tightened. "With respect, Admiral, those soldiers don't know what they're signing up for. They haven't seen the records, haven't read the descriptions of how the others died. They've been fully briefed. Have they been in the same room with it? Felt it calling?" Everyone on the bridge turned to stare at Jake. He hadn't told anyone about that feeling, the strange pull he felt whenever he looked at the armor. "Lisa," spoke up. "Captain's right, there's something about the armor. It's like it's waiting, choosing." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "Choosing." Jake took a deep breath. "I'll do it." "Captain, no." Sam stepped forward. "You can't." "I'm the logical choice," Jake continued. "I've been exposed to its energy field longer than anyone. If there's some kind of selection process happening, I'm already part of it." Amy stood up from her medical station. "Jake, the odds of survival are better than the odds of Earth surviving without this weapon," he finished. "Someone has to be first. Better me than some soldier who's never seen what this thing does." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. "Captain Holloway, I won't order you to do this." "You don't have to. I volunteer." "Jake, please." Lisa's voice was barely a whisper. "There has to be another way." "In 2 weeks, the Dominion arrives. In 3 weeks, Earth burns. If there's even a 1% chance this armor works for humans, we have to take it." The Admiral nodded slowly. "Very well. Captain, you have authorization to proceed. Dr. Thompson will remain on the comm to monitor the test." "Wait," Sam said. If we're doing this, we're doing it right. I need 6 hours to set up every sensor we have. We're going to record everything. Neural activity, vital signs, energy fluctuations. If something goes wrong, at least we'll have data for the next attempt. Agreed, the Admiral said. 6 hours. Then we proceed. After the communication ended, the bridge was quiet. Jake's crew avoided his eyes, busy with preparations they hoped wouldn't be needed. Lisa finally broke the silence. Why? She asked. Why does it have to be you? Jake walked to the observation window, looking down at the armor. Remember what the Vectari message said? When agony becomes strength, when pain becomes power, when suffering becomes purpose. That's humanity's story. We've always found meaning in our pain. Amy joined him at the window. The medical risks, I know, but think about human history. Every great achievement came with sacrifice. Someone had to be the first to test vaccines on themselves, the first to go to space, the first to try experimental treatments. Humans have always volunteered for the impossible. Sam slammed down his tools. This isn't heroic, Jake, it's suicide. Maybe. Or maybe it's what humans do best. We endure. We adapt. We survive things that should kill us. Lisa pulled up the translation she'd been working on. There's something else. A final message from the Vectari. I just finished translating it. The text appeared on screen. The inheritor will know 3 truths. First, that pain is not the enemy, but the teacher. Second, that suffering shared is suffering halved. Third, that the armor does not choose the strongest, but the most willing to bear the burden for others. Jake read the words twice. Suffering shared is suffering halved. What does that mean? I don't know, Lisa admitted. Maybe it's philosophical, maybe it's literal. The Vectari like their mysteries. The next 6 hours passed too quickly. Sam transformed the cargo bay into a medical theater, with sensors covering every inch. Amy prepared trauma protocols, though she knew they'd be useless if the armor killed. Jake, like it, had killed the others. Lisa spent the time searching for any final clues in the alien texts. She found references to something called the resonance, but couldn't determine what it meant. As the 6th hour approached, Jake stood before the armor once more. His crew gathered around him, their faces a mix of fear and hope. Whatever happens, he said, you've been the best crew anyone could ask for. If this works, humanity gets a fighting chance. If it doesn't, at least we tried. Still time to change your mind, Sam offered half-heartedly. Jake smiled. Humans don't become legends by playing it safe. He stepped toward the armor, ready to discover if humanity truly was different, or if they were just another species about to learn the price of hubris. Jake stood before the armor, wearing only medical sensors across his body. The cargo bay hummed with equipment. Cameras recorded from every angle. Amy monitored his vital signs, while Sam tracked energy readings. Lisa translated streams of new text appearing on her screens. Neural activity baseline normal, Amy reported. Heart rate elevated but within acceptable range. Energy containment fields are stable, Sam added. Jake, we can still— No, Jake's voice was firm. We're doing this. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. The containment fields parted like water. The armor seemed to pulse brighter as he approached. 10 feet from the armor, Amy called out. Slight increase in brain activity, electromagnetic interference rising. Jake reached out his hand. The moment his fingertips touched the metal surface, everything changed. The armor exploded into motion. Not solid anymore, but liquid metal flowing like mercury. It wrapped around, his hand racing up his arm with impossible speed. Jake gasped as it spread across his chest, down his legs, over his head. Neural spike, Amy shouted. His nervous system is— Jake screamed. The pain hit him like a supernova. Every nerve in his body caught fire. His vision went white, then exploded into colors that shouldn't exist. He felt his bones reshaping, muscles tearing and rebuilding, blood burning in his veins. This was how the aliens died. This crushing, infinite agony that destroyed minds in seconds. But Jake didn't die. He fell to his knees, still screaming, but he was alive. The armor continued its integration, burrowing into his skin, connecting to his spine, linking with his brain. The pain doubled, tripled, became a universe of agony. Neural activity is off the charts. Amy's voice seemed to come from very far away. But his neurons aren't burning out, they're adapting. Through the pain, Jake heard Lisa gasp. The walls! Look at the walls! New text was appearing, glowing brighter than ever before. Ancient Vectari words writing themselves in real time. The inheritor arrives. The pain bearer. The one who endures. Jake forced himself to focus through the agony. The armor was trying to kill him just like it killed the others, but something was different. The pain wasn't fading, but it was changing, spreading out. Instead of concentrating in his brain, it flowed through his entire body. Incredible, Dr. Thompson's voice came through the comm. His nervous system is distributing the load. No single part is overloading. Jake managed to stand. The armor sealed around him completely, becoming a second skin of shifting metal. His vision cleared, and suddenly he could see everything. Heat, signatures, electromagnetic fields, the flow of air currents. His team appeared as brilliant constellations of bioelectric energy. Jake? Amy's voice was tentative. Can you hear me? I hear everything, he replied. His voice was different, resonating with harmonics that made the air vibrate. I can see your heartbeat, feel the ship's reactor, sense gravity waves from Jupiter. Pain levels? Amy asked. Jake almost laughed. It's there, always there, like being burned alive forever. But I can handle it. Humans are good at that. Living with pain. Sam stared at his readings. Power output is insane. You're generating more energy than a fusion reactor. How are you not dead? Because humans are stubborn, Jake said. He flexed his hands, watching energy ripple across the armor's surface. We don't die when we're supposed to. Lisa was frantically translating new text. There's more appearing. It says, the first truth learned. Pain is the teacher. Now comes the test of purpose. Before anyone could ask what that meant, alarms blared through the ship. The main screen lit up with proximity warnings. Dominion scouts, Sam shouted. 3 ships coming in fast. Jake felt the armor respond before his conscious mind processed the threat. Time seemed to slow. He could feel the enemy ship's energy signatures, predict their attack patterns. They found us, Lisa said. We're too far from the fleet. The Endeavor can't fight 3 warships. Jake moved toward the airlock. Each step left dents in the reinforced floor. Yes, it can, because it has me. Jake, wait, Amy called. You've only been in the armor 5 minutes. We don't know. I know enough. He touched the airlock controls. The armor interfaced with the ship's systems instantly. Keep recording. Everything. The armor is teaching me, but I'm teaching it too. About humans, about what we can endure. He stepped into the airlock. Through the comm, he heard Admiral Wells. Captain Holloway, you are not authorized for combat operations. With respect, Admiral, I'm the only combat operation that matters now. The outer door opened to space. Jake felt no cold, needed no air. The armor sustained him, fed him energy, kept him alive through means he didn't understand. He pushed off from the ship and flew. Not with rockets or thrusters, but by manipulating gravitational fields. The armor showed him how. Knowledge flowing, directly into his mind along with the endless pain. The Dominion scouts opened fire. Plasma bolts that could vaporize steel shot toward him. Jake raised his hand and space itself bent. The shots curved around him, missing entirely. He reached the first ship in seconds. His armored fist punched through its hull like paper. Systems shorted out at his touch. The ship died in moments. The second ship tried to run. Jake caught it, crushed its engines, left it drifting helpless. The third ship managed one transmission before Jake disabled it. Impossible. The human survives the cursed armor. Alert the fleet. Alert! The message cut off as Jake severed its communication array. He floated in space, looking back at the Endeavor. The pain hadn't decreased. If anything, the combat had made it worse. But he was still functional, still thinking, still human. Status report, Amy's voice crackled through the comm. 3 ships disabled. No casualties on either side. I can feel more coming. The main fleet felt their scouts go dark. Jake, your neural patterns are stabilizing. The armor isn't fighting you anymore. It's cooperating. He could feel it too. The armor was learning what humans were. Not just their biology, but their spirit. Their willingness to endure suffering for others. The second truth, Lisa read from the walls. Suffering shared is suffering halved. The armor bears the pain with you now. Together, you are more than the sum of your parts. Jake felt tears in his eyes, though the armor absorbed them before they could fall. The pain was still there, would always be there. But now it had meaning. Purpose. Tell the Admiral, he said. Humanity has its weapon. The Dominion fleet won't reach Earth. As he flew back to the ship, Jake understood. The armor hadn't been looking for the strongest species. It had been waiting for the one species crazy enough, determined enough, human enough to make pain their ally instead of their enemy. The transformation was complete. The inheritance was claimed. The real war was about to begin. 3 days passed. Jake remained in the armor, refusing to remove it even for medical checks. The pain never stopped, but he learned to live with it, even to use it. Each wave of agony sharpened his senses, quickened his reflexes, made him stronger. The Endeavor raced back to Earth carrying news that would change everything. Final medical report, Amy announced on the bridge. Jake's been in the armor for 72 hours. That's 24 times longer than the Threnody record. His neural pathways aren't just surviving, they're evolving. Lisa looked up from her translations. The armor is changing too. Its energy patterns are synchronizing with human biorhythms. It's becoming more than alien technology. It's becoming human technology. Through the observation window, they watched. Jake floating in the cargo bay. The armor pulsed with new patterns, colors that matched human neural activity. He was meditating, using ancient human techniques to manage the constant pain. The third truth revealed itself yesterday, Lisa said. The armor doesn't choose the strongest but the most willing to bear the burden for others. Jake's willingness to suffer for Earth's survival, that's what made him the inheritor. The door opened. Jake entered the bridge, his armored feet silent, despite their weight. The crew still flinched when he moved too quickly. His new speed was unsettling. The Dominion fleet is 12 hours out, he reported. I can feel their approach. 14 capital ships, 67 destroyers, hundreds of fighters. Sam shook his head. Even with the armor, those odds aren't what they seem. Jake interrupted. He touched the wall console, and holographic displays sprang to life. The armor remembers the Vectari War, their tactics, their victories. More importantly, it's been teaching me about pain. Teaching you? Amy asked. Jake nodded. Pain is energy. The armor converts suffering into power. The more I hurt, the stronger I become. Human psychology lets me push further than any alien could. We use pain as motivation, not limitation. Earth appeared on the main screen as they dropped out of hyperspace. The defense fleet looked pathetically small compared to the approaching Dominion armada. Admiral Wells's face appeared on the comm. Captain Holloway, you're just in time. The President has authorized full deployment of the armor program. Program? Jake asked. The station you found wasn't the only one. The Vectari left 7 caches across the galaxy. We've located them. All volunteers are standing by. Jake felt a surge of hope and dread. Admiral, the pain. We know. We've selected people with specific qualities. Chronic pain sufferers who've learned to function despite agony. Combat veterans with PTSD who've mastered their trauma. People who've survived torture, severe injuries, loss. Humans who already know how to live with suffering. Within hours, 23 humans wore the armor. Each one screamed during the transformation. Each one survived. The pain was overwhelming, but it was also familiar. They'd been training for this their entire lives without knowing it. The Dominion fleet arrived expecting an easy victory. They found something else entirely. 24 humans in Vectari armor met them in space. The battle wasn't a fight, it was a revelation. The armored humans moved like angels of death, bending space, manipulating energy, turning the Dominion's weapons against them. Jake led the charge, the pain fueling his every move. He danced between laser fire, punched through ship hulls, disabled entire squadrons with electromagnetic pulses. His fellow humans fought beside him, each one channeling their suffering into devastating attacks. The Dominion fleet broke after just 6 hours. The survivors fled, carrying impossible news back to their empire. Humans had mastered the armor that killed everyone else. Later, as Earth celebrated, Jake finally removed the armor. The pain didn't vanish. It left echoes in his nervous system that would never fully fade. But he smiled as he looked at the armor, now dormant, but ready. The Vectari were right, he told his crew. They didn't create a weapon. They created a test to find the galaxy's protectors, beings who could suffer for others, who could make pain their strength. Lisa finished translating the final Vectari message. To those who bear the unbearable, who endure the unendurable, who transform agony into salvation, you are the inheritors. The galaxy's pain is now your strength. Use it wisely. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through superior technology or physical might, but through the simple human ability to endure suffering and find meaning in pain. The armor had chosen correctly. Earth's children would be the galaxy's guardians, bearing the pain so others wouldn't have to.